has written...
Oh, we have to take a break and then we'll be right back.
Business news at 20 minutes past the hour, every hour. Here's the latest update from the Fox Business Network on WVOX Worldwide.
From the Fox Business Network, Wall Street is getting a boost in early morning trading. Just before 10 a.m. Eastern, the Dow was up 57 points. Personal income and spending both rose 0.4% in April. While income rose in line with estimates, spending rose by the smallest gain in 3 months, falling short of what analysts expected. This is another sign that high food and gasoline prices are still putting a strain on consumer budgets. Gas prices have fallen again overnight. The national average is now $3.80 a gallon, according to AAA. That's down 18 cents from the recent high. But gas prices are still $1 per gallon higher now than this time last year. And this long holiday weekend kicks off the busy summer travel season. Blockbuster is slashing prices to try to get customers to come back into its stores. Under the new promotion, Blockbuster will charge 99 cents a day for more of its movies. This is the first move Dish Network is making since it acquired Blockbuster. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Adam Shapiro.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 800-98-STEEL. 800-98-STEEL. That's 800-987-8335.
Their duty and their sacrifice have let our freedom ring. Remembering those.
Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning. My name's Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and I'd like to thank VOX for providing me with this opportunity. My co-hosts are Zach Bergenfeld, John Rood, Josh Ringel, and we're interviewing Michael Wooten of New Rochelle Patch and Lizzie Hedrick of the River Towns of Patch. And Lizzie was telling us before about some of the interesting stories.
Thinking about it again, something that I thought was really interesting for me this week is that I interviewed late last week Michelle Rhee, who's been very active in the National Education Reform campaign, because she was going to be the commencement speaker for Mercy College. And it was a really interesting interview. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed writing the article. I posted it. And then I received an email a couple of days later from the head of the teachers union in Hastings, who wanted an opportunity to respond to it. So I sat down with him, and we talked about a lot of the same issues and his perspective on it. And to have that opportunity, it's the sort of thing people don't think that you'd ever have the opportunity to write about any of the interesting national issues when you do a local newspaper. But that was an example of where, we really could take something that's so important on the national level and localize it. I think it got a couple of really great stories.
I thought it was really an interesting story also. And it's sort of interesting because when you read about commencements, you sometimes don't get a chance to learn more about the commencement speakers. And I think that's good. Michael, is there any story that stands out since you've been editor?
Oh, there are a lot of stories. I mean, New Rochelle's is a wonderful city. I'm really enjoying living there, and I'm also enjoying the fact that I'm only covering a single community. When I worked for the Poughkeepsie Journal, I covered 7 municipalities and 2 major school districts. So it's nice to be able to concentrate on one area. And just look at this past few days. I covered a mock crime scene final exam that was given at New Rochelle High School, and the next day I turn around and I'm in Lincoln Center covering a concert that the high school students are giving there. It's a marvelous place to mine for good stories.
Yeah, and what I like about my observations of Patch editors is that everybody seems so enthusiastic and upbeat, and just really very inspiring. When Patch started a number of, like a year and a half ago or whatever, I remember initially it seemed like all the stories were more local, and now there's more, there's some regional stories. Is that an accurate impression, or am I just, reading into it?
I think there are more regional stories lately. We're finding, and it's true everywhere, that you don't just stop at your town's borders. What's interesting in Pelham is going to be interesting to the people in New Rochelle as well.
And we have great reporters throughout the entire Hudson Valley who are doing a really great job covering issues in their area. Mm-hmm. So if I see a story on Michael's site, let's say, or on the Tarrytown or Scarsdale site, and I say, wow, this was really interesting to me, I figure this is probably going to be really interesting to my readers as well. So I have that opportunity to put it onto my site.
Oh, so unlike, say, the Journal News or a typical newspaper, each of the editors could select stories from other patches, or there's not like a regional editor who would say, you have to run the story?
There are certain ones that I think are more that we plan in advance,
right,
that everyone's going to have, and will be told this will be posted on your site at a certain time, and we will all have it. But no, for the most part, it really is sort of an autonomous effort in terms of us picking and choosing what we want represented on our homepage.
As a politician, one of the articles or columns that I read every week is a column about the state legislature. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really interesting that you report what each of the legislators introduces, and you mm-hmm. could get a sense who's working hard and who isn't. And many times I'll steal ideas from what other communities are doing or what other lawmakers are pushing.
Oh, sure. Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. Another question I had is, you recently set up a news initiative, a blog. And could you tell us about that? I also write a lot for the blogs, so I have a conflict of interest in asking the question.
Well, yes, we opened up another avenue for people to give their opinions, and blogs, or people can write anything they want, and it's very little editing. We don't change their voice at all. It gives again another level of engagement that we're trying to encourage.
And I think one thing that we kind of have trouble emphasizing to people and putting out there is that a blog post isn't the same thing as writing an article. When you post a blog onto Patch, we're not saying, that there's a deadline, that it needs to follow all of the AP style guidelines. It really is just something that you might put on your Facebook page because you feel strongly about it. If you have a business and you're doing something that you think is interesting and you'd like the community to know about it, that would be something to go on a blog. If you're a teacher, something that you're doing in your classroom would be great for a blog. Really, anyone who lives in the community, I think, would be a good blogger. And it's just any information that you would put on your Facebook page, that you'd put into an email to people, it could be a blog post.
And one of the nice things about Patch is you're affiliated somewhat with AOL.
They're our parent company.
Right. So when people who subscribe to AOL get the Patch on their when they go and look for their mail.
More and more they've been doing that.
Yeah, that's what I've seen when I look at AOL. It usually will say Patch, and then there'll be stories.
When you specify on the AOL homepage your zip code, it will produce a list of stories from your local Patch if there's a Patch in your area.
Are you pleased with the number of readers so far who seem to be interacting and reading your stories?
Oh, I am. I have one feature called Where Were We in New Row, and it's a weekly location guessing game, and the people come onto the website and they talk to each other on the website, and they banter and they poke fun at